For the first time, Rockschool is celebrating the horn section, and we've started with the classic lineup of trumpet, trombone and saxophone. We're celebrating them as a section. So as opposed to having individual repertoire that's unique to trumpet, trombone and saxophone, we've got a huge amount of shared repertoire starting right from grade 1 all the way up to grade 8. And that really helps develop the skills that you need to be an ensemble player. That doesn't mean we've neglected individual repertoire. You'll need to learn and progress with your instrument, becoming familiar with its own unique techniques, expressive possibilities, and the scope and the range of what that instrument can do as a solo instrument as well as part of an ensemble. But for the first time, the majority of the repertoire is shared across all 3 instruments. You need a huge variety of skills to become a modern horn player. As well as reading music, you need to be able to use your ears, listen to the phrasing that the other people in the section are playing, and decide as a group exactly how you're going to play that phrasing, so that you're phrasing as one united voice, not as 3 or 4 individuals. There'll be times when you'll have to do a bit of arranging, deciding which voice is the highest in a chord, who has the lead voice. There'll be times where somebody in the section is taking a solo, others are playing backing riffs. There'll be occasions where you're working with the singer. You need to judge your volume and your tone and your sound to work around the vocal line, as well as choosing that moment where you really need to shine as either a soloist or as a section. Improvisation is an important part too. You'll often be called on as a horn player to play a solo, whether that's in a jazz setting or as part of a soul, funk or rock band. So we've wrapped up all of those skills in the syllabus, giving you a chance to do all of those things at various different points. A really important part of this project was choosing the right repertoire. Being able to cover a wide variety of genres and styles that you're likely to encounter as a modern horn player. So we went right back to the early jazz groups of Louis Armstrong, brought it into the swing and big band era with people like Benny Goodman. We also chose some fantastic rock and roll pieces, classics like Tequila, then coming into the soul and Motown era with artists like Gladys Knight, Marvin Gaye, disco and funk era with Earth, Wind and Fire, classic horn sounds and classic horn sections. We've brought it up to date with modern groups like Snarky Puppy and also interwoven rock and pop tracks that maybe weren't originally written for the horns, but we've adapted those vocal melodies. Because often in a band, you may be asked to work around a singer, work with a singer, or play a vocal type line on your instrument. So that's another important skill. We've spent nearly a month here at Livingston Studios in North London, and it's been a really fun and amazing time. We've chosen some fantastic musicians who are either on tour or currently recording with some of the greatest rock and pop artists. We've also chosen musicians who are in the West End or theatres to add that skill set into what we're doing. Some of our musicians also teach at colleges, universities and schools, and also have backgrounds as improvising jazz musicians. We've really been able to draw on all of that experience in producing this syllabus for Rockschool. It was also amazing how many of the skills that we're trying to teach that we used during the recording session. There were times where we had to bring the scores into the control room, decide between us how we were going to phrase some bits, mark up articulations, and occasionally even go away, sit at the piano, work out a few changes because something wasn't quite right during the process. And these are all skills that we're trying to install in the next generation of horn section players because they're practical. You're going to need them every time you pick up your horn, whether it's for fun, playing with other amateur musicians, or in a professional environment. This is a project that we've wanted to do at Rockschool for a very long time. In fact, Norton, our founder and chairman, has wanted to do this ever since he started Rockschool. He's a trombone player himself, and it was a real privilege for me to be able to get to spend some time with him in the studio, have him record on a few tracks, because this has really been a project that is very close to his heart.
We're doing a horn syllabus at Rockschool because it's needed. There are brilliant players who play all sorts of pop rock music on their horns, trombone, trumpet, saxes, who have inspired legions of players around the world and also play music that loads of people love. And at the moment, there isn't an organised, systematic way to welcome young players to learn that music and understand the disciplines, challenges and techniques which are involved in playing in a horn section and not just playing solo. So we really wanted to innovate in terms of brass and horns education so we could provide that opportunity for young players. We've wanted to do this for years, ever since I started Rockschool, and now, finally, we've managed to do it, so I'm very pleased.
With our partners at Match My Sound, we're able to bring you some very unique features in our ebooks. As well as being able to play the backing tracks, you'll be able to slow them down or speed them up. You'll be able to loop sections, individual bars or groups of bars, to practice them and get better and better. You'll also be able to get feedback. You'll be able to record your performance and get real-time feedback on how you're doing. How your intonation is. It's a really important part of being a horn player, so you'll be able to find out whether you're playing in tune or not, whether you've cut notes short, you've held them on too long, whether you've played wrong notes or whether you've missed any out. It's an incredibly useful feature that we can only put into a digital product. There'll also be some unique video content which will give you tips and tricks on each of the grades, highlighting new techniques as you learn with Rockschool's horn section. It's been an incredibly exciting project to work on, and I wish I'd had something like this when I was learning the saxophone. I can still remember being a teenager, getting to about grade 5, and really my only ensemble experience was playing with a pianist in my grade exams. Then being suddenly thrown into junior orchestras, bands, pop gigs, rock gigs, and feeling very out of place because I didn't have the experience of working with an ensemble. There were also other people playing the same instrument as me, and yet they were playing the music slightly differently. I didn't know if I was right or they were right. Being able to develop those ensemble skills is going to be really useful and really fun. So you'll be able to play with friends, family, other people at your school, other musicians in your area, maybe who are also playing the saxophone, or maybe they're playing the trumpet and the trombone, and you'll all be able to work together. And you'll be able to do that right from grade 1 all the way up to grade 8. So I'm really hoping that people will enjoy this product. It's been a huge pleasure to work on, and I hope everyone enjoys Rockschool, the horn section.